Hello, everybody.
What's good, everybody?
I was making sure that I'm using the right template. I am.
Hell yeah. Good for you.
I didn't like the sound of that.
Oh.
I didn't like the tone. I didn't like the implication.
Sorry.
Because one time I forgot to use the right template for the whole video.
Listen, I can't see it, so you didn't have a Johnny P, essentially, to help you out there.
And women always need men to double check our work.
You gotta walk behind us. You gotta...
Interesting start to the episode. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Ringside. I'm John.
I'm Kendra.
And hey, welcome back. Because we were on vacations all at wanted. Vacation at the
Can you tell from my shirt?
She's on full Parahead mode right now.
Still on vacation mode. It's Saturday.
Away in Margaritaville.
It's Saturday today.
Well, at the time of this recording.
At the time of this recording. Tomorrow's Sunday, and then Monday, back to work.
Yeah.
Back to work after 2 weeks off. So.
But you know what? What a 2 weeks we've had.
It was really fun, and we were very productive during those 2 weeks.
I mean, it wasn't all work. We also spent a few days in the happiest place on earth. Obviously,
we went to
we
Disney.
Had to.
Where the fuck else are we going to go?
So we did go to Disney World, like we mentioned on our last episode, and a great time was had by all.
It was a great time. It did.
By all meaning both of us.
Yes, and it did rain.
That wasn't so fun.
Like most evenings, afternoons, yeah. We got rained out of Fantasmic.
Yeah.
One night. And then luckily it was in the middle of our trip, so we were going to be there for one more night. So then we went back. Where did we go that day? Animal Kingdom.
We started in Animal Kingdom.
We started in Animal Kingdom and then circled back around to Hollywood Studios just to watch Fantasmic. And some kid shit his diaper bad. And
that wasn't even the same night, was it?
Yeah, that was the night we actually got to stay and watch it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, some kid pooped out of his ass onto the concrete. Like, it overflowed his diaper so bad, it was on the concrete. And I made the mistake. I was like, what's all the hubbub about? And I look to my left. Shit on the ass. It was like a kid. It was like, he was like max one. That was crazy.
So for those of you who have never been to Hollywood Studios or have seen Fantasmic, we've been going to Disney for a few years now. We've been 5 years. And it is the show itself is great. Amazing. Like, it's really, really cool. But the process to get in, they start lining that bitch up like early. It's like,
I think it's the same for every nighttime show.
Yeah.
That
Fireworks,
Disney has.
Like
yeah, the fireworks shows. I'm not a big fireworks guy. They're loud and they're scary.
You know, I like the fireworks. I don't like the crowd because people get fucking mean. They get aggressive. Yeah,
they are very aggressive. And the fun thing that people will do is they'll because obviously it's mostly people with their kids. And then right before the show starts, they'll put their kid on their shoulders so the kid has a good view and fuck everyone else behind you. Yeah. That happened to me at Walt Disney World. At Magic Kingdom. Sorry, Walt Disney
remember
World.
One time we went to Epcot and I think we were with your mom and she wanted to stay for the fireworks.
Yes.
And we had a table. Because we got there early, we knew the deal. Mm-hmm. So we got there really early. We had a table, and there's not really. Here's the thing, in Epcot specifically, there's not really a bad spot because it's in World Showcase, which is essentially a big circle.
Yeah.
So there's not really a bad area to see the fireworks from. Anyway, I remember there was this. I don't remember if they were a family or a group of friends or something. I don't mind sharing the space. Again, we've been going to Disney a while. Like, we're not those people.
Yeah.
You know, like, I get it. They were like inching closer and closer and trying to like sort of take over the table. And then I didn't move. I didn't say anything. I wasn't being a dick. I wasn't being mean. I could feel and sort of hear them behind me, like catching a fucking attitude.
Yeah, they were getting mad
that I wasn't moving.
But like we had been there for a while.
Like at least half an hour.
Yeah.
Before anyone else was there.
Those, if you've ever been to Epcot, you know those, like, the tables are about this big. and all of our shit was on it because we've been carrying backpacks all day. Because my mom, she's not us, so she doesn't go all the time. So she wanted open to close. So we were carrying around all this shit. It had rained, so we had all of our rain stuff, which means we brought our big backpacks. So all of our stuff was on the table, and they just like started trying to put their stuff on this itty bitty table with us. And here's the thing, like you mentioned, if you would have asked, be like, hey, do you mind if we stand here? Hey, do you mind if we use like a little bit of the table? We would have said yes, no problem. But it was the fact that they didn't ask.
Had drinks too. I think they had like Starbucks or something.
Yeah, and they just like kind of just like pushed in and felt entitled to our space.
Right. And like you're getting mad that I'm not moving or that we're not moving. Fuck you.
Get here earlier then next time.
So anyway, back to Phantasmic.
So
it's a mob to get in there. And it's cool because it's like this huge, this massive like amphitheater space, which I didn't even fucking know was back there because we had never done Phantasmic.
Yeah.
So, but it's a crazy time to get in. It's an even crazier time to get out.
Oh, yeah. Getting out was way worse.
But
the thing that's difficult is that like everyone wants to stay together, obviously. And it's partly Disney's fault because they love to do this thing where they're like, you're not in a line. So people just bum rush everything. Right. Just put us in a line. If you put us in a line, so there's like a clear first, second, third, there wouldn't be so much fucking trouble.
Right.
But yeah, it's just kind of like a mad rush to get in. And then when you leave, it's the same thing. It's like there's no, just everyone go. There's no exit process. We're not doing it row by row. Like it's just go. And there's one way in, one way out. And that's unfortunate.
So, well, because of that, like once you're in, once you're seated, like to me, I'm the type of person, once I'm seated, I'm seated. I'm not.
Oh yeah. I'm not going to get up.
There's too many people and there's too many things happening for me to be like, oh, let me go run to concessions. Let me go run to the bathroom. No disrespect or no shade to anybody who needs to do that stuff.
Because we were sitting for like 2 hours.
But like, I'm just like, I want to sit here. I've got my spot.
Yeah.
There's too many people, too many variables. And this second time we tried to see the show, which we did successfully see the show, in front of me.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. If there's one thing you're going to bring with you to Disney World, this is what people don't tell you. They'll tell you to bring, some sort of over-the-counter medication, ibuprofen, acetaminophen, something like that.
Sunscreen, water.
Yeah. They don't tell you, bring deodorant. Especially if you're not from around here.
You don't get it. You don't know.
Bring deodorant.
Heat. Don't bring natural deodorant. Leave your natural deodorant at home. Bring the aluminum.
Yeah.
Bring it with you. Reapply it. I reapplied my deodorant every time I went to the bathroom.
Right.
Every time you're in the bathroom, reapply your deodorant.
And if you're not bringing deodorant with you, you better make sure you have you layer on the antiperspirant like before you even think about leaving. But
I forgot
bring it with you.
I always forget deodorant and antiperspirant aren't the same thing.
Yeah. Listen.
Anyway, we're getting off on a tangent.
Anyway, so the people in front of me
stink a little bit.
They just were not pleasant smelling. And I get it. It's a long day at Disney. You're walking around. That stuff happens. But that's like right in front of me. I'm right downwind. And then there's the kid who's shitting on the floor over there.
Yeah.
People are walking back and forth in front of me. I'm like,
because of shit.
We're on bleachers.
Yeah, we had to keep like moving our legs.
So it was a test in willpower leading up to Phantasmic. But the show itself was really, really cool. Lots of spectacular water work and
it's definitely
lights.
One of those. I would say this about all of the Disney shows. You got to do them once, and then I never want to do any of them again.
Right.
Not in person. I'll watch them on YouTube.
Right.
But it's just like it's so overwhelming. There are so many people, and it's so loud. Oh my god.
Speaking of shows, we actually saw 2 of the brand new shows they had at Hollywood Studios.
Whee!
And one of them was the Villain Show.
Mm-hmm.
The other was
Little Mermaid.
The Little Mermaid.
So for those who are familiar with Hollywood Studios, there was a Little Mermaid show over in that weird courtyard that they don't know what to do with. That's like half Star Wars and now half Disney Junior.
Yeah.
That show, that Little Mermaid show, I think has been gone since before we became pass holders.
Yeah.
Like it hasn't been a thing for a very long time.
I've seen it. I saw it years and years ago. I think the last time I saw it, I wonder if was it even Hollywood Studios at that point?
Might have been MGM.
It might have still been MGM, but I remember seeing it.
It was a long-standing like thing, and then I think actually it closed permanently. And then they finally, after years, reopened it with, I presume, a whole new like concept, because it was very, oh my God, it's Bustelo. Bustelo, get in here. It was very like tech forward to an extent. So it makes me think that it was like all completely new. But yeah, I had never seen the original one. Let me turn down my mic a little bit. And we saw it maybe the second weekend it came out. And I was really surprised because Disney in my head is very like cost cutting forward, but there were a good amount of like puppets, like puppeteers with puppets. And then of course Ariel and Eric are people.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of puppets. I thought it was really fun. You had gotten a new Magic Band the day before. We never take the Magic Band 3s or whatever they're called, Magic Band Plus, whatever, the ones that you have to plug in. We usually use these ones.
Old Faithful.
The old ones? What?
I said Old Faithful.
Yeah. Because they don't have to charge. It's just so much easier. But John wanted one of the limited edition
Goofy movie. I also had forgotten my Magic Band.
He also forgot his regular Magic Band. So we went and purchased one of those the day before. And the show like interacted with the Magic Band. So that was cool. I thought it was really solid. I've seen some people kind of criticize some of the animation does look like Barbie movie animation.
Yeah.
And then some of the animation is made to look like puppets, but it's not being puppeted. I can kind of understand that. But I was just happy to see actual puppeteers puppeting puppets. Yeah. And I thought all of the effects were cool. There was like this big screen over the whole thing. It's like see-through or like semi-transparent to where they still had lighting effects on it. But yeah, I thought it was a really solid show. It's like one of those basic, this is the entire movie of The Little Mermaid in
you put the hits in minutes. There, you get out of the sun for a while. Yeah. Like, yeah, it was a fun show. And I agree. I like that the animation that does match the puppets is done really well, because there was even a few times before I realized. Yeah. I think it was Under the Sea is when I realized that there were puppeteers back there. Yeah. So it was a pretty seamless transition that even had me second guessing for a hot minute. But yeah, it was really cool. The set pieces were really cool. Even the projections. I'm not a huge projection fan when it comes to live shows, but I get it. But I thought the projections were used really well. Yeah. It added to the actual live set pieces. Ariel. Ursula's Cave was really cool because there were bits of the lyrics of Poor Unfortunate Souls around everywhere. So that was really cool. I enjoyed the show. I thought it was cute, but I thought the upgrades they made to it were really, really cool. Also had a friend who did the mocap for Ursula in the animated stuff. So that was really cool to know that her work is preserved in this for the time being, as long as it's there. Right. So yeah, Disney was a hell of a fun time besides all the rain.
Spoostella.
The hell did he do?
I think he jumped up into the thing.
Oh. And then worked on a little home project.
Wait, we didn't even talk about the villain show.
Oh my God, you're right.
In my opinion, superior of the two shows. Hey. Okay, so if you're familiar with Hollywood Studios, in the back corner by Rock and Roller Coaster, where Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy used to be, they shut down Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy because no one went and it was boring. I love a Cars animatronic. Don't get me wrong.
The Cars animatronics were cool.
Love a Cars animatronic, but no one was going and it was boring. So they shut that down and they put in a show called Villains.
Unfairly Ever After.
Unfairly Ever After. Which is just what it sounds like. It's a villain-centric show. The set was super cool.
Yes. The theater was cool.
The theater was cool. It was a lot of screens. Take that how you will. But it was because there were a lot of screens, they were able to really customize it. So only 3 actual like people in costume were part of it.
Mm-hmm.
The rest was screens and
Animation.
But when those 3 characters came out, they were able to really personalize the entire set.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, it's not just like screen. It was like there's screens here and then there's screens off to the side. So it felt really immersive.
Yeah.
And I thought it was super cool. The villains each come out and they do like a little song to be like, I'm the one that's treated most unfairly. I'm the most misunderstood.
Yeah.
I feel like if you saw it online, it wouldn't do it justice because in the theater, it was really cool to see all of the stuff. And your Magic Band interacted with the show, which was cool too. The coolest part of the show, I don't want to spoil any because it's so brand new. I don't want to talk too much about like the content of the show. It's a very interesting premise. It doesn't fit at all in with Hollywood studios or that part of Hollywood studios, which I will get to in a second. The coolest part of the entire show was during, I think it was Cruella de Vil. Spoiler. They had bubbles come out, but the bubbles had smoke in them.
Yeah.
That was the coolest part of I felt like a little kid. I was so mesmerized by the smoke because when you pop it, the smoke comes. Oh my God. How did they do that?
Yeah, I don't know. That
was so cool.
After leaving, I was kind of like, yeah, that was pretty good. I think I had to sit with it for a while. I did really, really enjoy it. But you said something that I think makes total sense. So they, what is it, in Magic Kingdom, they're opening?
Yes, in Magic Kingdom, they're opening back past
Big Thunder Mountain.
Big Thunder Mountain, yeah. Beyond Big Thunder Mountain, I think is what they're calling it. They're creating a whole Villains Land expansion. So this show... It like I had the thought while we were in there, and then I watched a Disney Dan video and he said the same thing I said, and I said, damn, if Disney Dan is saying it, like this must be true. They're, in my opinion, testing this show and like fine-tuning it and stuff in Hollywood studios for it to be moved to Magic Kingdom once the Villains Land is open. That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Because there's, again, without spoiling too much, we do only have the 3 live performers that are there, and we do see some other characters pop up. I think, and again, I think it's just because I'm an actor. I'm like, I think the show would benefit more from live performers and just live singers, dancers, something, just more live performance.
Yeah.
And after thinking of it, after you pointed that out, I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think the premise of the show is cool. The music in the show is really, really good. So I think... I think if they're just kind of testing the waters here, I think they could really beef it up and make something very special to go over there. There's one song, I think it might have been the second song we heard, the second character we saw. It was like borderline like a trap version of a song.
It was very Lin-Manuel inspired.
Yeah,
it was very,
and I was like
musical rapping.
If we're going to do this, either lean into it or... just go like I would much rather like classic Disney sound.
I didn't mind it.
I thought it was fun. It was fun, but I'm just like, but again, I'm like, you can't balance the two. You have to like lean into it if you're gonna do it. But that's just me. Overall, thoroughly enjoyed it.
And I've also heard rumblings because of the layout of this theater. It seems like it could accommodate, say, a Muppet Vision 2.0 in the future. And Rock and Roller Coasters being rethemed to Muppets, it would make sense if this fucking random floater building that they're using for random shit, like Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy and Villains Unfairly Ever After or whatever. It would make sense to me to put something Muppets in there and make a new Muppets courtyard in that back corner of Hollywood Studios.
Would love that.
Would love that.
Would also not be opposed to... So not a lot of people watched I think it was 2011 Muppet show on ABC. It was kind of like The Office, but it was the Muppets. And in that show...
It was almost more like 30 Rock.
It's almost more like 30 Rock. Yeah, you're right.
30 Rock means The Office, but Muppets.
And they had... Miss Piggy had a talk show
Yes.
I also wouldn't mind
An interactive Miss Piggy talk
seeing
show.
a Miss Piggy talk show there, but that's just because I love Miss Piggy. So
Whatever we get there,
more Muppets,
more Muppets, more Muppets. But yeah, so that was the 2 new shows at Hollywood Studios. I love the idea of putting more shows into all of the parks.
Agreed.
Get people out of the sun, get people out of my way when I'm trying to walk places. It's just the more stuff you have for people to do, the less congested places get. Lines aren't as bad, and it makes everything better. So more shows in the park with live actors and live puppeteers, please. Anyway, after we got back from Disney,
Jesus,
we did this was, I think, our biggest like home improvement project. So while we were at Disney, we did celebrate 9 years of dating, 9 years of being platonic roommates, and to test that, I decided to do a big home improvement project, which was painting the living room. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Everything's fine. We have a very builder grade basic house that we haven't done much with. All of the walls, I don't know if you can tell, every single wall is painted flat white, like almost like primer. And with the cats, very hard to keep clean. So we definitely knew we needed to paint with something above flat white,
right?
For wipeability. So I was like, well, listen, we have this extra week off of work. Might as well do it. And it took 4 goddamn days to paint 4 goddamn walls.
We didn't realize how big the living room was.
It's not even just that. Like, it used so much paint. There was so much supplies. Taping took forever.
Yeah.
We learned a lot. And we didn't really freak out.
Yeah.
So I'm partial to freaking out.
We got close at the end. You did get a little overwhelmed, you said.
When?
Well, no,
just when it was all over?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just happy that it was over, but like
Yeah.
I couldn't appreciate it in the moment because I was so done with it.
Yeah. I'm admittedly not a fan of doing stuff like that. So I was a little bit sour grapes most of the time. I felt bad. I did feel bad. I was trying to keep it under control. But
You
I was
weren't that bad. You weren't as bad as you thought you were.
But yeah, I was just
Like,
like,
big
oh
projects
man,
like
it reminds me of being a kid having to do this.
Which is crazy. Like, how often did you paint? You mentioned that before. I remember painting my living room once as a kid.
I think I helped. I think it's that I had helped others do it. I
Okay,
didn't really
yeah,
do it
you
because
do
I grew up in apartments.
You do
couldn't
have a
really do
big family too.
it. Right. So anytime I had to do shit like that, I was just like, oh my god. Even in school, I didn't like doing the set stuff.
Oh, that's all I was doing.
Yeah,
I didn't mind it. I told him, I was like, we'll make it fun. We watched a bunch of Disney movies.
did.
We watched a bunch of Jersey Shore. So it was fun.
the duality of man.
Truly.
No, but the living room does look so much better.
It looks so much better.
And it's not like a big harsh difference. We didn't,
No.
But it's enough of a difference to just not feel like we're in an apartment or in like
an unfinished space.
Right.
That's what it felt like. Unfinished.
But while we were watching those Disney movies, we watched a bunch of the classics, the stuff we grew up with, and it got me thinking. We were watching specifically Hercules, and the end credits, and back in the golden age
the good old
of
days.
Disney, or the Disney Renaissance for all the purist technicians out there.
Oh.
Actually, it was commonplace for the end credit versions of the big songs in the movies to be covered by a big artist, mainstream artist at the time, right? So we were watching Hercules and the end credit starts playing, and of course, Go the Distance, as performed by the great Michael Bolton, started playing. And it got me thinking, and I want to ask the audience, and I want to ask you.
Yes.
Because we started talking about it. If they were to remake, which they probably will in live action, a lot of these Renaissance movies they've already started. If they were to remake these songs along with these movies, who should sing the pop version or end credit version of these big numbers? Because when we were watching Hercules, I thought, who would sing the shit out of this? 2 names came to mind. Hosier singing Go the Distance,
Mm-hmm.
and Josh Groban.
Josh Groban could sing the shit out of any of these.
That's true.
It also depends on the vibe we're going for. I feel like a lot of the ones from when we were growing up were like
They're
R&B,
like power ballads. Yeah.
Yeah. Or yeah, like
Go the Distance, at least Michael Bolton.
yeah.
That was like a power ballad.
Yeah.
Because they were big in the 90s.
Yeah. And boy, he was I have opinions and thoughts on Michael Bolton and his voice. Can he sing? Yeah.
There's only one Bolton she recognizes.
Troy
Bolton.
Coach. And no, it just always sounds like it's so painful for him. You know my opinions on Michael Bolton's voice. It wasn't as noticeable back then though, because he was straining and then it caught up with him.
You know, I sang a Michael Bolton song for an audition in college.
Did it hurt?
No.
Have you ever had a Krispy Kreme? Was it crispy? I agree with your pitches for Go the Distance, and I can't think of a single artist.
Well, let's think of a couple other ones. Let's think of a couple other songs.
Okay. So I'm pretty sure as you were talking about it, I'm like, I think they still do this.
They do. I don't like a lot of them.
And
So
that's
like,
a separate
what was
issue.
it? Frozen 2. They had fucking Panic at the Disco doing
that is
Into the
unfortunate.
Unknown.
That is unfortunate.
Don't piss me
Don't
off.
piss me off.
Why waste a brilliant song on fucking Panic at the Disco?
Oh,
Sorry.
that's true panic. Alicia,
His Panic.
Alicia Cara did something.
She did How Far I'll Go.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Which I don't mind it.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But it's on your list, so you'd like to redo it.
I'd like to, well, because they're remaking the movie. They're doing the live action version.
True. I fucking forgot about that. Ah!
So
Release me from these shackles.
Now
That
is-
movie just came out. Whatever. That's a whole separate
10 years.
2 years max. How far I'll go.
We also got some other, so we can always come back to these, and we can leave some of these to the audience. But just thinking about How Far I'll Go, who could sing that and sing it well?
Remember when you asked, like, do you want me to tell you the songs that I'm picking beforehand so you can formulate a thought?
Mm-hmm. And
Because
you didn't look at it.
Once you're in it, you're not going to be able to think of a single thing. And I said, no, don't worry about it. Uh-oh. I've never heard of a single singer ever.
We can come back to this one
How
because I have some
far?
thoughts for the next one.
How does How Far I'll Go start?
I've been turning into the water.
Okay. I can only hear the Alicia Cara version.
Now, Call Me Crazy.
It also doesn't help that I only listen to K-pop.
Call Me Crazy.
Okay.
I say for the live action version, Ali E. Carvalho.
Well, yeah. Yeah, let's get her back in the mix.
Let's get her back in the mix.
Just play the original version.
She could do a ballad version.
I think she could do like maybe not a ballad. Do you just want these to be like ballads?
No,
She could do a poppy version now that she's like an adult.
and that's one that's an interesting one.
Yeah. Idina Menzel.
Well, you know who did the pop version of You're Welcome?
Who?
Jordan Fisher and Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Oh my God.
Don't piss me off.
I was going to pitch Jordan Fisher for one of these as a joke. Sorry, Jordan Fisher. You're very talented. You're just everywhere.
I'm excited about this night. So we'll come. I want y'all to help us out with some of these. So How Far I'll Go. Who
would you pick?
Who would you pick? Because also
Benson
granted,
Boone. Original key. He'd do it. And he'd do a backflip on it.
True to Your Heart, a song I forgot about until we were waiting to watch Fantasmic.
Before Fantasmic, they play the Disney Star covers of Disney songs.
Some of them weren't bad.
This one, I believe it's the Cheetah Girls. I think it's the Cheetah Girls. True to your heart, you must be. It's so good.
It was good.
So the Cheetah Girls, bring them back out of retirement.
Well, hang on. Well, here's the thing. I don't know, because we had forgotten about this song. I was like, I know the song from somewhere, and it was on the Mulan soundtrack.
Yes, it's the closing
And
credits.
in Mulan, on the soundtrack, this is sung by 98 Degrees and Stevie Wonder.
What the fuck?
It's
what a combo.
Amazing. So I'm like, okay, I think here we can have a little fun.
Okay.
I think maybe a BTS.
Oh,
I
that's
think
a good
maybe
one.
a K-pop group.
That's a good one.
And I'm not just, I'm not, I know how that looks. I'm not just pitching them.
I forgot about the optics of how that looks.
Because it's like a pop song. This isn't even in the movie. It's in the credits. But I think it would be really cool.
You know who would eat up anything, honestly? NMIX.
Ooh.
NMIX is the Korean Cheetah Girls.
You heard it here first.
And I think they could eat it up. Cause they're like, listen, as I said, I love K-pop. NMIX vocally is probably like one of the strongest vocal groups, and they all can dance. It's crazy. They're so underrated, but I feel like they could eat this up too.
Yeah. I don't know.
They can eat up anything.
I like a boy group for this song. Well, listen, the Cheetah Girls ate it up, so I mean, it's not that it hasn't been done. Yeah. But that goes back to my thing for Go the Distance, is like, because I forgot you mentioned someone who could probably sing it really well.
Go the Distance?
Yeah. When we were talking, not on here. Just,
who did I say?
I'm trying to remember.
I so rarely.
You mentioned someone, and I was like, oh, you mentioned the guy from Victorious who sings Mutt.
Oh, yeah. What's his name?
I don't know his name. You watched the show.
His name was Andre on the show. I don't know if that's helpful.
Leon Thomas.
Okay. Yes.
Which he could do. And honestly,
Leon Thomas
he could do this song well, too.
He could do any of them. Eye to Eye is on your list later on. He could do that.
Yes.
Actually, that's my pitch.
But for Go the Distance, I was like looking for power, like a powerhouse voice.
Yeah.
So that was my thing. Let's skip ahead to Eye to Eye.
Okay.
I
like my pick.
Leon Thomas is a very good pick. I really like that.
Whoever does Eye to Eye has to be black, correct?
Well, my pick was going to be Bruno Mars and or Silk Sonic.
Close enough. A Silk Sonic fucking Eye to Eye would be crazy.
Give me Silk Sonic redoing the entire Tarzan soundtrack. If anyone's going to do it.
But the Tarzan soundtrack is so serious and Silk Sonic is so not.
That's true. But if you give me a Silk Sonic Eye to Eye.
Silk Sonic covers Disney songs. Silk Sonic does anything. Silk Sonic releases a second album.
They just need to put out a second album. I'm sorry, that has nothing to do with this. But no, I was thinking my initial thought was
they would kill Eye to Eye.
Was Bruno Mars, but then I'm like, you get the band back together.
We need to get the band back together.
Did I say it like that?
No, it's from that TikTok.
Oh.
And the person who sent you this wants you to know. Yeah, those are solid. Those are solid.
Yeah. Anyway, what? So I leave the question to y'all. Any of the songs we picked, the only one we had trouble with is what?
Beyonce, Eye to Eye.
No, that's interesting.
When Beyonce is able to be a little silly, goofy, Beyonce did the Proud Family. Well, Destiny's Child did the Proud Family theme song.
Could you imagine if we had gotten a Destiny's Child, True to Your Heart? A Beyonce Into the Unknown?
Oh, Beyonce. Oh. Into the Unknown is so good.
I can hear her belting the
yeah.
Oh man. Now I need it.
Or honestly, we might have to play around with like the tone of the song. Chapel Roan. Chapel Roan has a very beautiful voice, and I think she could do a belter.
Yeah. I don't mind that. So if there are any of these songs that we mentioned that you have an idea for, or just any song in general that you're like, hey, they're probably going to remake this, let's get cut to brass tacks. And who's going to sing the end credit version?
Yeah, that's all we care about for these live action.
Because the movies, I'll be honest, I haven't watched most of the live action ones.
Yeah,
I haven't wanted to, haven't needed to.
You know what? The only one that I like thoroughly enjoyed. How many have I seen? I think you told me we saw Cinderella.
Yes.
I don't remember that.
I liked Cinderella. I liked Cruella.
I liked Cruella because that was like completely different. That was not a live action remake.
Yeah.
That's a live action prequel.
Yeah.
I liked The Little Mermaid.
I like Little
The
Mermaid.
new Little Mermaid. I like that one, and I've rewatched it multiple times since it
I
came
think
out.
Aladdin's okay.
Aladdin's okay. They made some weird choices.
They made some weird choices. I think it's just a weird director to pick. A good director, just weird for that movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Beauty and the Beast. I haven't seen
Didn't see it either.
The Lion King. I heard Mufasa's pretty good.
What did you say about my brother?
Yeah.
You stay away from my
It's a
brother.
Lin-Manuel joint.
Idris Elba covers that song for the live action remake of the live action remake.
Idris Elba and Sean Paul.
Run it
Sean
back.
Paul.
They were in something else before. They know each other.
Boasty.
Oh.
Anyway, let us know what you think about our choices, or bump our choices and pick your choice.
Another one that I would like, sorry, not to keep bringing it back, but one person that we heard multiple times before Fantasmic, who's on those Disney Does covers thing, Demi Lovato. Demi Lovato, people I think forget, Demi Lovato is probably like the most talented vocally to come out of Disney Channel. Miley Cyrus close second. But like put her on stuff. She'd go crazy with it. She did that Enchanted song.
She also did.
And it was like a pop punk version. Oh, it was so good.
She did the pop version of Let It Go for the
Really?
soundtrack. Yeah.
Look at her.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think she could do a
Miley
lot.
Cyrus singing Reflection
Yes.
would be.
Miley
Ooh.
Cyrus singing Go the Distance. A country Go the Distance.
Now hang on.
Hang on. Because wasn't he like with some farmers or whatever?
Yeah.
I've often dreamed. of
She's
a
singing in the original key too,
far-off place.
with that low, sultry voice.
Borat. She could do it. Yeah, there are some people who I think could tackle multiple
Yeah.
songs.
So let us know
Let them at it.
what y'all think. Switching gears just a little bit as we begin to wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk a little WWE, because we've had some big. It's been a big week.
Yeah.
Some good, some bad, all crazy.
Yeah. It's pretty much.
Let's start with the big thing that's on everyone's mind. The Pipe Bomb 2.0.
Yes.
Cena's Pipe Bomb.
Yes.
So on this latest edition of Friday Night SmackDown, the show ends with, which we talked about it beforehand, how it's so close to the 14th anniversary of the original CM Punk Pipe Bomb promo. And the match that we had on Friday had a lot of reflections, a lot of similarities. You know, John Cena and R-Truth, Ron Killings in a match, and Cena's in the middle of something with CM Punk. So like all the stars were aligned to
yes.
have a repeat of that. But they flipped the script a little bit, you know, because again, the story between John Cena and CM Punk is that I really like the analogy of yin and yang, where they're, you know, they've kind of, they're forever trying to find harmony. So they've kind of flip-flopped, right? Heel John Cena, face CM Punk for the title. And so this time we had CM Punk get put through a table, and and John Cena proceeds to do his own, you know, pipe bomb promo of sorts. And it was fantastic.
I feel like it was a little bit more impactful for you and other people who had actually seen the pipe bomb, like the original pipe bomb pipe.
Oof.
The original pipeline promo.
Pipe bomb promo?
Fuck.
I'm leaving all that in.
The original pipe bomb promo. I had not seen it. So I was just like, yeah. But there were so many references because I heard John Cena's promo this morning and we watched the original one last night. So I was like, oh, like this is why he said this. This is why he mentioned this. This is why he did. It all just made a little bit more sense. But yeah, I think we were like, because we knew that these three people were, something was going to happen with these three people.
Right.
But we weren't sure who was going to go through the table, who was going to cut the promo.
Sorry, the Slim Jim table.
Sorry, the Slim Jim snap me a piece of that Slim Jim, I think is their tagline. So yeah, we were like, is R-Truth going to cut a promo? is CM Punk gonna cut another promo? Like, who's going through the table? Like, it was all. So
Right.
when it like, I mean, it just makes the most sense to have John Cena do what I think John Cena does best. Well, besides wrestling, put him on the mic. Oh, he's so good. He's so good.
And what was really cool is that I like this story between John Cena and CM Punk because in the very real, like before CM Punk came back to WWE, he referred to WWE doing shows in Saudi as taking blood money. So the fact that it seems like they're pushing through. It seems like they're pushing through with this match with CM Punk and John Cena in Saudi Arabia. And John Cena, without saying it, has been saying, like, I'm going to prove that you're a hypocrite.
Yeah.
And so, like, again, CM Punk's whole thing, voice of the voiceless, best in the world. Like, I'm doing this for the people. And that's been a lot of, like, John Cena's rivalries as of late.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton kind of played that sort of same thing. You know, I'm doing this for them because I could have been out of action. I almost had to retire, you know, like, so I do this for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's been everyone's thing.
Yeah.
But CM Punk, that's been like his whole platform for years, right?
Forever,
so him being like, actually, I'm going to expose you as a fraud.
Yeah.
And you are Mr. TKO and you're a millionaire despite yourself, which I love that callback line to CM Punk's. It's like, he wasn't saying anything untrue. And again, listen, strip the kayfabe away. Make your money, homeboy. Like, whatever. Yeah. But, like, it was a really, really well done promo.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, between the R-Truth stuff and finally putting him against CM Punk, like, it's just been like a new shot of life into this current run. And I said this on, you know, a video I made on TikTok. We haven't hated John Cena's heel run.
Yeah.
Not by any means. Again, the one thing I will say is it's been pretty generic at times. You know, just check off all your heel boxes, you know, call the crowd idiots, make fun of the sports team, like kick someone in the nuts. Like it's been pretty generic at times, but I don't think it's been nearly as bad as the internet likes to pretend it is. And this, however, I think is a real turning point. You heard that in the crowd too. Like they were cheering.
Yeah.
They were cheering for him at the end of it. And he even played into that, which I'm for sure he just thought of something on the spot to like acknowledge that. Because even calling them idiots at the end, they still were on camera. Thank you, Cena. Thank you, Cena. So I don't know. It was such a cool play on an already iconic promo.
Yeah. I agree.
And I wonder how CM Punk comes back from that.
I do think it's really smart for them to, it's like one of those things where like it will do you so much better to acknowledge these things. Like if CM Punk is going to wrestle in Saudi Arabia, it is so much better. Sorry, my stomach. It's so much better to acknowledge that and honestly make it part of the story.
Right.
Than to like just do it without saying anything.
Right.
Like I didn't hear him say that. That was so long ago. Like that would have been so much worse. So I think it's also twofold. They're doing like PR work as well as like continuing this storyline and making John Cena seem like a bad guy and all this stuff. Like I think it's covering multiple boxes, which is really good. It's so much better when they actually acknowledge these things that everyone is thinking about and talking about online. I mean, we see them do this all the time. I think it's something that WWE does successfully.
Right.
They're not gonna like try to pretend things haven't happened. You see that
at a certain point you can't.
Because you can't. Like, yeah. So I do think it's really smart for them, and if you can make it make sense in the storyline, like even better. So I'm excited to see what happens. I'm still like, man, is he really going to perform in Saudi Arabia? I still don't know. So we'll see.
Things could change at the drop of a hat. I think it's going to happen, but
I think it's going to happen too.
And like, you know, wrestling aside, is it like unfortunate? Yeah, but it's also like kind of the business. I don't know. Like it's.
I mean,
they're already over there. I don't know. So,
and you think about like, it's a similar thing like when Disney announced their Abu Dhabi park. It's like, yeah, but the people who are there,
they don't reflect, Yeah. So yeah,
and they have so much fun when they're over there.
You take it with a grain of salt, and you're allowed to feel how you feel, but at the same time, like there's nuance to it, and I think we have to continue to consider that. And your disappointment's valid if you are disappointed.
Yeah. But we'll see. You never know.
We'll see.
What happens.
Real quick, just two more things I want to touch on before we get on out of here to go get to this crab bowl.
Yeah.
So it's happened. It's happening. For better, for worse. The return of Goldberg.
Yeah.
To WWE for one last match.
I feel like a little bit bad for Goldberg because I feel like his last match is being overshadowed by everything else that's happening.
Yeah.
Like if it were me, I would hold out for another year and have my last match be not during John Cena's retirement tour.
Or maybe not during like not during a Saturday night. No, I had fun when we went to Saturday Night's Main Event, but maybe not during a Saturday Night's Main Event. But
it does seem like a weird...
It's in his hometown. It's in Atlanta.
True.
So, like, I get it. And maybe it's not his last... I assume it's his last match. Maybe it's not.
I thought it said on his shirt, like, last something.
Last something, yeah. So, I assume it's his last match.
Yeah.
But we'll see. So, obviously, Goldberg is a very polarizing figure in the IWC, in the internet wrestling community. But I want to bring something up. You're relatively you're not a new fan anymore, but in the grand scheme of wrestling, you're a relatively new fan. So when I think of Goldberg, I also have the perspective of someone who was aware of Goldberg in the 90s and the 2000s. And
nostalgia for Goldberg.
A little bit. And it's not that I'm like a huge Goldberg fan. I think the idea of Goldberg, especially when he was first around, was like really cool. I mean, he's just this big, bald, jacked son of a bitch who's like undefeated for so long. Like, and again, obviously with time and as an adult, you're like, oh, well, it's because he wasn't really like a wrestler. Yeah. He was an entertainer. And I still maintain that to this day. I think Goldberg is an attraction, not necessarily like a wrestler.
Yeah.
And I mean that as no disrespect. So, but that's how I remember him, and that's how like I sort of think of him. You, on the other hand, are someone who has a more recent idea of Goldberg, which is
he's just kind of like he's there. I don't know. I think because I'm so used to now, like my dad's idea of wrestlers, he was like, oh yeah, they all had beer bellies, they were smoking, like chain smoking. They weren't athletes.
Jake the Snake.
Yeah, they were just like guys who went out and did crazy shit, right, and then drank a pack of beer afterwards.
Right. They worked for beer and hot dogs.
Yeah, that's like my dad's concept of wrestlers. Because of when I started watching wrestling, which was like 2021, most of the people that I have like 4-year-old nostalgia for are top level professional athletes, like who have stamina.
Yeah.
And can do crazy shit. And not all of them are doing fucking flips and shit, but
some of them are doing like 30, 40-minute matches. Like,
yeah, like that. And it's what I've come to expect is entertain me. You should have the ability to be in a minimum 20-minute match.
Right.
And Goldberg, I don't know. I don't have that same like nostalgia for him. So in my head, he's not like this big and bad dude. Like,
right.
He's just kind of like an older man.
Yeah.
And he just kind of, I'm not going to lie, seems like a little bit of an asshole.
Yeah. I can
IRL asshole.
So that we point all this out because I want to ask the question. How do we feel about this match? Do we think that this match feels forced, or do you think this match feels fun?
It feels forced. if Gunther had never lost the title, it wouldn't feel as forced. But the fact that he lost it and then got it back from Jay, like a week before Goldberg came back? Like, that's forced. That's crazy. Because they had set up this thing between Goldberg and Gunt many moons ago, like last year or whatever. So they were just like, okay, we need to, if he's coming back, we need him to have an opponent. This is the only person that he has like ongoing storyline with. So how do we make this match impactful? Okay, Jay needs to lose the title.
Yeah.
Back to Gunt for this one night. That feels forced.
Yeah, I think this was always the plan. I think the plan for Goldberg to have his final match, what I assume is his final match, was always meant to be against Gunther.
Yeah.
And I think it's because Gunther, I don't like all this new Gunther hate that's online.
Love Gunt.
But I think it's because he's an incredibly good worker. And I do think that I like the idea that, again, I think the WWE is more than aware of what the internet says about Goldberg. So I think putting Goldberg in a match with like a wrestler, someone who, is known or at least presents himself as like a wrestler is an interesting way to go. Like if we strip all like the just being upset that Goldberg's around sort of thing, that's an interesting idea. Someone who's criticized for not being able to carry more than a couple minutes in the match versus someone like Gunther, who had one of the best WrestleMania matches of recent memory with Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. Like, I think that's a really cool thing to do. Yeah. And I do think Gunther will make Goldberg look good.
I agree.
And because he's also not a pushover. He's not someone that Goldberg's faced.
He's our big bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. So I like the idea, but I will say, like, I'm not normally one to say this. I do agree with some people that Jay didn't necessarily need to lose the title for them to have this match. I get it. And fine, whatever. I'll accept that. I like Gunt as a champ. So, like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I think this match could have felt more fun. And maybe it will as we lead up. We have a month or a few weeks leading up to that. So maybe we will get it. Maybe they'll build it up a little bit more. Yeah. But, like, I don't know. They could have very well may have piped in those Goldberg chants. I
don't know. Because here's the thing. Goldberg does have a good chant.
He has a cool entrance.
And he has a great entrance.
So, like, I don't know. Again, and I maintain that even now, he's a great attraction. Yeah. And people...
Like, but for me, it's like all of that. The fun of Goldberg is his entrance and the chants. And then he gets in the ring and I'm like...
So we'll see. I would love if in his last hurrah, if he surprises us and has
30-minute match.
Yeah, that'd be half the program with all those fucking ads on Saturday Main Event.
True.
But I don't know. I'd be if we get I think best case scenario is if we get a pretty good match. If we get an okay match, it's a win.
I think they'll make it fun. I think it'll be fun as a match. It's just like everything leading up to it's very forced.
Yeah, but. Yeah, I'm not, again, and this is like with most wrestling, I'm never as upset about something. It takes a lot for us to be like upset that something happened or didn't happen. Now we do run the possibility. How crazy would it be what if Goldberg wins and gets cashed in on by Seth Rollins?
That's interesting. A Saturday Night Main Event. That's interesting. That's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
It's always a possibility.
Speaking of that weekend in Atlanta, Georgia, some unfortunate news coming out of WWE. So Liv Morgan suffered a pretty gnarly injury on the last Monday Night Raw, and it was great. Like, so we basically saw it happen in replays, and it,
it looks so nothing.
It looks like just like a usual not casual, but just like a normal bump for them to take. Yeah. But I mean, the human body, as extraordinary as it is, can only take so much,
It's like when we saw Zoe Stark shatter her knee. Like, you could tell.
Yeah.
As soon as she like, you could tell.
Yeah.
This one, it was like you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of, I think you showed me, or the internet showed me, Randy Orton one time was slapping the mat. He loves to slap at the mat. And he was doing his like slap at the mat, and he dislocated his shoulder. Doing like he does it all the time.
Yeah.
Dislocations and like tearing ligaments. Oh, it's like my worst nightmare, because you can do it doing anything. You can land wrong and you're fucked.
So, I mean, and that sucks because she was involved in, listen, I've said it once, I've said it before. Judgment Day is the best thing that's happened to multiple superstars.
Yeah.
And I'm going to include Liv Morgan there.
Absolutely.
Because I was never much of a Liv Morgan fan prior to her time in Judgment Day.
Agreed.
And now,
I'm sad that she's going to be out for a long time.
Now it sucks because she was involved in so many like storylines, and it was all like organic. Like she had something going on with Roxanne Perez. She had this ongoing thing going on with Rhea Ripley. She's had this thing with Nikki Bella, like a huge program starting with Nikki Bella. She was in she's a tag team champion, so like,
and I'm sure whatever she started with Nikki Bella was supposed to be resolved at, or continued at Evolution.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm sure it's supposed to be a huge match between them.
Yeah, and I don't think that's.
Well, she's going to be out for a few months now.
Yeah.
And so like, and that sucks because SummerSlam's in New Jersey, where she's from.
She's from New Jersey, famously.
Yeah. So like, so much love to Liv Morgan. Hope she gets well soon.
And it could be one of those things where it's like, oh, it's not as bad as we thought.
I would
like
love
Chelsea
if she pulled a Cena and came back.
Yeah.
Came back early.
Months early. Yeah. That'd be nice.
But it's not looking like that's gonna happen. Now this, and I feel bad because both of those injuries we just talked about did involve. It's not that it involved Kairi Sane. Kairi Sane was in those matches.
She just happened to be there.
So,
for sure, not her fault on either one.
If you are someone who is blaming Kairi Sane for anything,
crazy work,
you're an asshole. Like, don't do that. Because it's also just, it's such an incredibly physical, like, just business and sport. So, listen, I work out recreationally. And I've been dealing with like a bruised muscle or something like around my ribs.
It's the weight's fault.
It's the weight's fault and the way I sleep.
It's
but
fault.
So like, and that's just, again, working out, no physical like contact with anyone else. Mm-hmm. That's just, your body can only take so much, and over time sometimes you just got to let it rest, right? So over time, especially someone who Liv Morgan, has this incredibly taxing, physically demanding job, and then she has all these appearances, and then she's filming things, and like it's again only so much the body can take before it starts, that wear and tear catches up with you.
And it might not even be that. Sometimes you just land wrong.
Sometimes
and there's nothing you can do to prevent it. And no amount of rest can help that,
It's not like she hasn't been wrestling every single week on Raw. So, but that brings up an interesting debate online that I've seen. People have been talking about the house shows because WWE is essentially has cut most of them.
This is, sorry, I'm just not reading it. This is a very interesting take to me.
So, people have been saying that there have been injuries. There have been more, quote unquote, more injuries because WWE has cut house shows. Now, personally, so the debate is, does cutting house shows increase the risk of injury? That's the question. To me, I say no.
I would also say no.
But what is interesting is that, because on the one hand, I like the idea that this gives the superstars more opportunities to pursue things outside of wrestling. I mean, you have Liv Morgan filming movies. You have Drew McIntyre, who famously almost didn't re-sign with WWE because he wanted to spend more time with his family. Like, after he was working through the loss of multiple family members. So like, I do like the idea that they get time for themselves, they get time for their families. They're not working 300 days out of the year.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate that for them. On the other hand, I could see how maybe not having that continuous regimen can maybe play an impact on their cardio and on their conditioning. I could see that.
I think at the level that they're doing their cardio and conditioning probably every day anyway, because they're always in the gym anyway, and people got injured at house shows all the time.
Yeah. I mean,
so I think it's less risk.
You've had career-ending injuries in house shows. Saraya being a famous example, or Paige at the time. So, yeah, I don't agree with the idea.
I feel like
I think it's unfortunate because I love
house shows are fun, but like when they're going so hard all the time, I feel like more rest is helpful. That like they're doing so much already. I think more rest is probably better for them than more matches.
If anything, I assume it gives them more time to rehearse these matches and produce them to be at to give us more quality match. Now again, if you think that that's what's happening or not, that's a whole different conversation. But like,
the more well rehearsed, the safer that they are.
Right.
But anyway, John, it's crab boil o'clock.
It's crab boil o'clock. I know. I'm sorry. Thank y'all for tuning into this latest episode of Ringside. If you're not already, please follow us on all the various socials. Please make sure you are checking us out wherever you stream your podcast. We do our live streams every month, pre-preview, prior to the whatever upcoming WWE premium live event, PLE.
Please.
And sometimes we'll also just pop on here to do a Ringside Live, just to chat. Those are a little more low-key, a little more less rehearsed, or planned out, I should say. And we just talk to you guys and answer questions and shoot the shit. So make sure you're following us on wherever we are live streaming at. That would be TikTok and Twitch. And yeah, that's about it.
Excuse me, sir.
Oh my God.
I have nothing more to add.
All right, cool. Well, we'll see y'all for the next one.
Bye.
Peace.